Good evening and welcome to The Truth. Tonight, shock and awe as John Howard unexpectedly cuts all diplomatic ties to the United States.
It's because it's an outlaw country that doesn't behave in a normal, rational fashion.
Absolutely shocking. More on that breaking story later on. This week, a new terrorist mastermind has emerged as the #1 threat to global security, and he's not a Muslim. Hallelujah. In other news this week, Alexander Downer made a shocking confession in Parliament where he admitted that he pees in the shower.
I'm guilty of that. I'm the guilty man.
The Foreign Minister joins us now from our Canberra studio. Alexander Downer, thanks for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure.
Minister, let's put the shower scandal aside for a second and go straight to international issues if we can. You'll agree that coalition forces are stretched across Iraq and Afghanistan. How do you intend to find the troops to neutralise North Korea?
The challenge here, though, and it's important to understand this, is to keep working at training up the Iraqi army especially and make sure that before too long they will progressively be able to take over the country themselves without international support, province by province.
I'm sorry, did you just say that you plan to train the Iraqi military to invade North Korea?
This is a tough decision, it's not necessarily a popular decision.
But Minister, don't you think there are obvious flaws in this plan?
Look, I don't mind whether it's popular or unpopular. I'm going to say it because I profoundly believe this and believe it to be right.
Okay. You also recently suggested, in light of the upcoming Ashes series, that we should just send the entire English cricket team to Guantanamo Bay.
I don't think giving in to the terrorists in the end is going to be in our long-term security.
With all due respect, Minister, don't you think it's a bit extreme to suggest that the entire English cricket team are terrorists? Is it really necessary to send them all to prison? And how do you think the British government will react?
Well, you know, that's rather like saying that if you go, you know, when we went to war with Japan or with Germany, they were not going to like it very much and get angry about it. I mean, it had to be done.
Would it be that big a deal if we lost the Ashes?
That will be a massive victory for terrorist jihadists and the Saddam Hussein supporting insurgents.
Surely Australia can solve this without sending anyone to prison indefinitely.
That's an extremely feeble sort of position for Australia to take. I think it'd be embarrassing for Australia.
If we can just change subjects for a second and move on to domestic issues. You've defended cuts to elderly care despite damning evidence that senior citizens don't have adequate access to nursing and healthcare. And you've said that you won't back down.
Look, I've made the point I want to make about that, and I think it's just worth reflecting on this. Of course, when you confront evil, the evildoers themselves will fight back.
Isn't it unfair? Isn't it unfair for you to call them evildoers simply because they are a menace on our roads and can't drive?
The proposition that somehow you don't get into a confrontation with terrorists, or you don't get
But
into
they're
a
not
confrontation
terrorists.
with
They're
crime.
just old people who want hospital cover. Just because they shoplift doesn't make them
I
terrorists.
think you just have to have the courage and the determination in the end to try to defeat these people. And look, as I said already...
I'm sorry, Minister, we are running out of time. I'm going to have to cut you off there. Thank you for being on our program.
It's a pleasure.
That was Foreign Minister Alexander Downer. Join us again on The Truth when we ask Kim Beazley how long he thinks the Labor Party would last were they to win the next election.
Right, we'll be out in another month or so. Make preparations accordingly to replace us. That is the sort of thing I do.
That's all from us.